Jeff Zucker runs a television network, CNN, but he doesn't actually go on television. He spends most of his time up in his lair screaming into the speakerphone at his various minions, one of whom, the creepiest of all the minions, when Jeff Zucker has something to say, slithers forth and speaks for him like a ventriloquist dummy. So when he speaks, you know it's actually Zucker talking. And when he doesn't speak, you know it's because Zucker told him not to. And despite the fact that this kid is supposedly a media critic, one story he's assiduously ignored is the greatest media story of the month/year, and that's ABC News anchor Amy Robach's claim that her network killed reporting on billionaire pedophile Jeffrey Epstein. That's a great story. So why is CNN covering for Epstein and his allies in the media and refusing to bring news of that story to its viewers? Chadwick Moore is a journalist based in New York. He's kicked around the journalism business for long enough to know things, as we say, and he joins us tonight. Great to see you, Chadwick. So why would CNN, why would Jeff Zucker be covering up for ABC, which was covering up for Jeffrey Epstein? I'm confused.
Well, what are do they think that the American people are stupid? Do they think that there are people in this world? They do. And do they think there are people in this world who only get their news from CNN, that they don't know what's going on? I hate to break it to Jeff Zucker, but people don't live in airports, okay? They know what's going on. Your silence is deafening. Yeah. And I think that you mentioned the word cartel, and I think that's right. You know, when I've been on this show before talking about when the media covers for their own, whenever some scandal is broken or there's someone in some hot water, which is increasingly basically every single day. And, you know, they used to sort of circle the wagons and protect their own. I don't think that analogy works so much anymore. I think it's a little too cutesy. This isn't the Oregon Trail. This is Juarez, and Jeff Zucker is El Chapo. I mean, the level of corruption here is insane. And these are supposed to be competitors. We would assume that the news business would want to, maybe be delighting in one of their competitors having a tough time.
No, but it's bigger than that, because it does tell you a lot. Like, so CNN is liberal. Obviously, they've identified their audience as liberal and people stuck in airports, as you noted. I get all that's totally fine. But the Epstein story isn't political necessarily. So it really reveals the deeper agenda, which is basically covering up for the people in charge, however repulsive, corrupt, and criminal they are. I mean, that's really what it is, right?
That's exactly right. The fact that they said this story was squashed because they wanted an interview with Will and Kate for what, the 10,000 housewives that care about the royal family? Exactly. I mean, and instead it's just powerful people, powerful, well-connected people. Right. And you're right to point out it wasn't necessarily political. And that is what makes it so disgusting and so corrupt.
So, but you've been in journalism a long time. Is that what journalists are supposed to do, cover up and protect powerful people?
Of course not. You know, I always thought that journalists were supposed to expose powerful and expose corruption and speak up, like I did several years ago and was blacklisted by liberal media when I saw things, very, very bad behavior. And now what we're seeing is with Amy Robach being so obsessed with not the corruption, not the injustice, not that many people were probably continue to get victimized after the story was spiked, but she's obsessed with the fact that she didn't get credit for breaking the story, this career-defining story that she wanted her name on, and it fulfills this impression people have of journalists as these spineless egomaniacs who don't care about anything but themselves and promote and working their way, climbing up the ranks. Now, in ABC, it worked for her. She became a co-anchor of 2020 after she shut up and didn't fight this. That's a very prestigious job.
You're absolutely. I defended Amy Robach on this show until I read your piece in The Spectator. You've been writing for them recently, and I think doing an amazing job. And you won me over to your point of view. You're absolutely right. I mean, she should have spoken up, right? Of course.
At least called the police, you know?
Yeah. No, you're right. You're totally right. Chadwick Moore.
Great
to see you tonight.
You too. Thanks.